Good morning, family. It is so good to be here with you once again. Happy Sabbath to each and every one of you. It is another beautiful day in October, and we are able to stay connected via online, which is so special. So I'm so glad that I'm seeing people hopping on Facebook, on our YouTube channel, and on other spaces. Let us know by dropping a comment. So far, I see Levi and Kiri are here. So good to see you, Levi and Kiri. Thanks for joining us. Glad you're online with us today. And remember, this is how we stay connected. We're participating with each other by using the comment section and interacting with each other during any different part of the program. So thanks so much for being here and letting us know that you're here. I see Steve McLean is online. Happy Sabbath, Steve. Thanks so much for being online with us also. Or you can drop a comment in the YouTube thread, anywhere. I will receive it and I will try and share that with everybody else, because we've got a little bit of different places and people happening in different, hanging out in different spaces. So Arlen is here. Hi, Arlen. You're joining us on YouTube. Happy Sabbath. As we go into our first song for this morning, I'm going to invite you to take a moment now, grab your phone or your iPad or whatever it is that you do to reach out to a friend this Sabbath and to say happy Sabbath to them, and to remind them that they can join us here right online, that we're going to be worshiping together, opening scripture, talking about God's goodness. You can do that as we play our first song. We've got a hymn this morning. We had a little bit of a request last week to hear some hymns, and we've got some hymns that we're going to be sharing this morning. So as we get ready for our first song, again, take a moment now, invite a friend, or you can tag them right here on Facebook, or you can say hi on the other platforms that you're on and invite each other into a worship time. Thanks so much for being here with us. Such a good song. It is well with my soul. It's a reminder that not everything is going to be good or well or going to go exactly as we planned, but God's goodness has a way of finding us and helping us through, even when we think, or especially when we think we can't anymore, or especially when we think things are especially difficult, right? In our story today, we're going to be in the book of Daniel, and we're going to be talking about Daniel being in some pretty tough times in his life, not knowing if he was going to make it, but the number one thing, knowing that he could definitely trust God's love, God's promises, and God's goodness to get him through. And our Tamanaha family, they're going to tell us exactly how it is that Daniel got through this particular adventure with the help of God. So I can't wait for that to come up. As we move forward, we're going to go next into our offering time. Remember, offering is one of the ways that we also worship together. One of the ways that we trust in God is by giving back to our community as we collectively pour into the pot together. It's how we make ministry happen around our community. And I know we're not in the same space, but there's so many things that are happening still. Our rooms are almost done. We're almost ready to show you exactly what our rooms are going to look like when you come back to Sabbath school at church. We're so excited. Also, different ministries are happening. These online platforms are happening. All of these sorts of different things. Our church services are happening. All of those continue to happen and stay online because each and every one of you gives even just a little bit. Every penny counts. So thanks so much for taking a moment now to worship through giving. Offerings, you can do it online or save yours and take it to the church office in a little envelope right next to the church office doors. Thanks so much for participating in that part of our worship service. It is super important and just as necessary as all of the other parts of our worship service. I wanted to give a shout out to Donovan, Rhodey, and Luca. Hi! Well, welcome to Sabbath School. I'm so glad that you're online with us. Also, I see that Naomi and Gabriel are present. Welcome to Sabbath School this morning. So glad that you are online also with us. All right, so we are going to go into our next song, and this is also another hymn, Standing on the Promises of God. It's a little bit upbeat, kind of fun for us to think about these songs. These are hymns. We have sang these songs for years, centuries. So it's kind of fun to continue to keep learning them with your kiddos. I invite you, family, to sing together.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Standing on the promises of Christ, my King. Through eternal ages, let His praises ring. Glory in the highest, I will shout and sing. Standing on
standing on the promises of God is so good. A little bit of an upbeat to keep you going through the day. Did you learn how to spell promises? Because we spelled it out a few times. Starts with a P and ends with a promises. So make sure you check that out again during the week to keep that tune in your heart. We are standing not on our own promises, but on the promises of God. Those are always going to be bigger and better and greater, and they're always going to help us grow in ways that we never thought we could. Isn't that exciting? I'm excited. The promises of God are good and so, so great. So let's go ahead and keep going. We're going to go into our activity time right now. So for the activity time, we are going to be making a snack. A healthy snack. This everybody can do. If you don't have these ingredients at your house right now, do not be dismayed. Do not worry. God is with you, and you can pick something else in your house that you have that is healthy and good, because this is going to be helping us remember of our story today in Scripture. It's a way for us to think about what Daniel was thinking about, and how he made some decisions to be a healthy person, and how through that he showed integrity. I'm so excited. So you need some oats, like oatmeal. We are going to be making some delicious, no bake necessary. So friends, family, don't wig out. This is totally safe and totally quick. But we need to do them right now because technically it takes like 30 minutes to chill. And then afterwards, you can eat them at the end of Sabbath school, which is really fun and exciting. Something to look forward to. And it really doesn't take very long. You just got to throw all of these things in a bowl, and I will put up the next screen is going to have how much of each ones you need, but you need oats or oatmeal. Rolled oats or whatever your preference is, and then you need peanut butter or almond butter or whatever kind of nut butter you like. That's going to help everything stick together. And another thing that's going to help it stick together and get a little bit sweet is you need either honey, agave, maple syrup, any one of those choices. I would choose agave or honey. Those are the healthier options. But all of those to help it stick together, you're going to stick them into a bowl, and with your hands, you're going to mix it up, and then you're going to roll them into little balls, and you're going to place them on a little bit of parchment paper, flatten them out like cute little cookies, and then you're going to put them in your fridge for 30 minutes, and then you'll get to eat them as a fun treat to look forward to at the end of our Sabbath school time. Are you ready? I'm ready. Having a fun time making these, and don't forget to tag us as you're documenting your fun experience so the rest of us can see how much fun you're having as well. All right, I am so excited to see how your cookies came out, how these healthy, yummy snacks, what you chose. Make sure that you are tagging us in your pictures, either on Facebook or on our Kids Ministry Instagram page. We would love to see what you're up to and then share next week with each other. I always make a video and I can drop it right here and share with each other what you have been up to. I hope so much that these are super yummy snacks. Did some of you add chocolate chips? I really like cranberries or dried cranberries. Those are my fave. So I can't wait to see what yours turned out like and how yummy they are as you eat them at the end of Sabbath school. And if you are still working on them, do not worry. Go ahead and keep working on them. We are going to move into our lesson time. We've got a really fun lesson with our Tamanaha family. We're going to the theater at Tamanaha, the Tamanaha Theater. And they are going to be helping us remember about this awesome story of Daniel and how it is that we can learn from Daniel about integrity. All right, here we go.
This is a 66 picks mixed up into one. The books about God, who He is and what He's done. It's the Holy Bible, y'all, with God's truth packed tight inside. It's alive, a prize to hide in your heart and in your mind. Old Testaments are set up for the big event when Jesus crashed the scene with a new arrangement. It's history, His story, whose story? God's story. Oh, the story of how much He loves me. Let it blow up all the pages, let this show go live. Let His word explode from this video into your life.
Hello, La Sierra University Church Sabbath School. Sabbath School? Oh, Vivi, Violet, Sabbath School time. Hi, hello, happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath! Happy Sabbath!
Well, once again, here we are in Cyber Sabbath School land. Now, last week, we learned about Noah, a person of integrity, and the week before that, we learned about Enoch, who is also a person with integrity. Do you remember what the word integrity means?
It means doing something right when nobody's looking.
That's absolutely right. It's about making decisions we know are right, even though they can be hard when no one is looking. Today, we're going to look at Daniel, another person who is a person of integrity in the Bible. Now, Daniel had to make some hard decisions, and ultimately, these decisions resulted in him being one of the great leaders for God's people, and also being a witness for God in another land. Now, how are we going to learn about it? Well, why don't we go there?
How?
Well, let's go to the theater. So we're going to go back in time, way back, to actually see Daniel make some of these decisions. Are you ready?
How? Yeah.
Theater time. Daniel. Daniel was a person a long time ago who was in the lion's den.
Halt! I'm pretty sure you all know the story of Daniel in the lion's den, but, well, you know, aren't we kind of curious about what happened before that?
Yeah, you're actually right. That was my mistake. So let's go farther back. Back. Daniel was a little child. As a little child, Daniel's mother and father taught him about Jesus, taught him about making good decisions, and following God's law. Daniel was learning how to be a person of integrity from his parents. Now, unbeknownst to Daniel, as Daniel was a teenager and learning about God's law in a faraway land, the Babylonians were mustering for war. King Nebuchadnezzar ordered his soldiers to march across the country and to attack Jerusalem.
Come on, men! Hiya!
The Babylonians attacked. The Babylonians were fast. They climbed over the walls. They went into the city too.
Yeah. Wait. What about instead of killing all those people, we could take them as our slaves or maybe turn them into one of us?
That's actually right, because King Nebuchadnezzar in 606 BC didn't want to take everyone and kill them all. Rather, he said, when we take over other people, we can mold them into Babylonians. We are not to wipe them out, but we will make them think like us, we will make them act like us, and we will shape their minds so they will lose their values, lose their history, and become just like Babylonians. So the soldiers grabbed Daniel
Come here.
and took him back to
March.
Babylon.
Go on, hurry up!
Now the soldiers got back to Babylon, and Daniel was scared because Daniel didn't know if he was going to be chained to a rock or work in a field. But Daniel always trusted in God. He kept a positive attitude because Ashpenaz, the king's first in command, came out to greet the boys.
Hello.
He said, "I'm Ashpenaz."
Hey, I'm Ashpenaz. How you doing? Hey.
Daniel was surprised. Daniel thought I was going to be a slave. But it wasn't meant to be, because Ashpenaz said, I can make these boys into Babylonians. I am going to shape their minds so they lose their values and lose their history. Ashpenaz went to get the books.
Come, sit right here while I come back with your studies. I would like you to go through all of these in 2 days, please. Thank you very
Daniel's
much.
eyes bugged out. Daniel said, "What? I have to learn math. I have to learn astronomy. I have to learn natural history, agriculture, architecture. And Daniel actually did. Daniel said, I can do this. I learned about God's law. I learned about our history. I can learn about the Babylonian history. Daniel kept a positive attitude even when captured and started learning. All learning made Daniel hungry. Daniel's tummy rumbled. And Daniel realized, I'm actually hungry. Ashpenaz heard the rumble and cleared the table.
Would you like some food?
Daniel's mouth was watering. He knew it was time to eat. Ashpenaz went to get the best food from the king's kingdom.
Here you go, fresh from the idol. We offered part of your meat patty to it, so you can just eat the rest. And your desserts, I'm sorry, but we have to offer the chocolate cupcake to the idol, of course, because, well, chocolate is sort of the best. So I'm just going to take these, put these in the idol, and enjoy the rest.
Daniel saw the king's food. Now Daniel had some choices to make. Daniel could have thrown away the food when Ashpenaz wasn't looking. He could have snuck some other food that wasn't served to the idol, or he could have argued with Ashpenaz, or he could have went and planted his own garden to grow food. But no, Daniel was a person of integrity, so he mustered up his courage and respectfully went to Ashpenaz to ask him for something to eat. He found Ashpenaz in the kitchen. He said, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Well, we gave you food. Was it not good enough? I mean, it's the best food the king had.
Ashpenaz said, man, Daniel was not going to eat. Maybe I can serve him something that he would eat.
Would you like this? Fried chick fresh from Loma Linda.
Oh, of course not. Daniel had a better idea. Daniel told Ashpenaz,
Oh, wait, it's a verse for Jesus Christ.
Oh, but if you do that, the king, he will have me executed.
I'll only eat pulse every quarter for 10 days.
So Daniel came up with the plan for 10 days. Daniel went back to the table, and at the table, Ashpenaz started serving pulse. Now, pulse was lentils, rice, nuts, fruit, vegetables, and these were not offered to the idol. Now, Daniel knew that God was going to provide for him, and Daniel decided, I can eat this because pulse will make me strong. I will drink the water, I will eat the food, I will eat the pulse. And for 10 days, Daniel ate that food. Now, after 10 days, Ashpenaz needed to go check on Daniel because Daniel had been eating the pulse and drinking the water and not the king's food for 10 days.
Daniel, I'm sorry to interrupt your pleasant feast, but it's been 10 days. I know you're having your lunch, but come, we better check and see if you've grown. If not, I have to prepare to be executed.
So Ashpenaz took him to Babylonian Fitness. While at Babylonian Fitness, Ashpenaz got out the scale. He got out the weights, he got out the measurement, and he checked to see if Daniel was going to be as strong, as sturdy, and as powerful and as smart as all the others. So he first weighed him.
Whoa, you gained 2 pounds.
So Daniel wasn't a wimpy kid. No longer was he the wimpy Daniel, but he was strong. He measured Daniel.
You've grown 3 more inches since I last saw you.
Daniel was taller, and he wanted to see how strong Daniel was.
Can you lift it? Whoa, he lifts them so easily. Boys and girls, he's definitely grown way stronger.
Now the pulse had made Daniel strong, and he wanted to check out Daniel's intellect as well. So he started asking some questions.
Do you know what 1 times 2 is?
It's 2.
Wow. Do you know what 1 plus 1 is?
It's 2.
Boys and girls, were those answers correct? I never actually learned that, so I'll just have you grade her. But I think you got smarter.
Ashpenaz was right. Daniel did get smarter, did get stronger because God took care of him. That Daniel was then promoted to be the number 1 in the king's court.
Why don't you be number 1 to the king's court instead of me? Because I'm still sort of on the risk of being executed. So why don't you just go right ahead?
Now King Nebuchadnezzar sat on the throne, and one night King Nebuchadnezzar was asleep and had a dream. Now, as he dreamed, he got worried because he couldn't figure out the dream.
Daniel, come to me this instant. Maybe you can decipher my dream.
None of the wise men could tell Daniel the dream, but none of the wise men could tell Nebuchadnezzar the dream, but Daniel could. Daniel prayed to God and started telling the king things. Even though these were things that the king may not want to hear, Daniel was honest and said everything that God had instructed him to do. That was something that Daniel had done. Daniel had learned to be a person of integrity. He demonstrated integrity through his actions and served in the king's court. He did not give in to any temptation. He kept doing what was right. He was committed to God.
And he is definitely now one of my best wise men.
Now let's go back to present day. Bring it back to present day. Wow, that was a great play. We learned a lot about Daniel. That Daniel was a person of integrity. And I hope all of you out in Cyberland, children, parents, grandparents, and the ones that take care of you, I hope that throughout this week, we're like Daniel and we can make some tough choices. We'll be respectful when we make these choices and make these requests of others. So continue to be people with integrity, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye, Cyberland.
Happy Sabbath!
Thank you so much to the Tamanaha family and the Tamanaha Theater. Such awesome storytelling and so many important things that they talked about. So now we're going to take a moment to just answer 3 questions. This is our talk about it time to think about the things that we just learned and what these things are possibly revealing to us, which means showing to us about God's love and God's goodness. So we're going to take a few minutes now, just as you heard and you saw this awesome play and these awesome storytellings about Daniel. Now we get to think a little bit in our minds and in our hearts what we've learned from this today. So parents and friends, go ahead and gather together. We're going to take a minute to talk about it. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk about it. What do you think that Daniel taught us about integrity? And what do you think this story teaches us about God's character? And most importantly, think about this week. What is something in the last week that you overcame and something difficult that you went through, and how did you overcome it? And was God part of your overcoming something difficult? I think the answer is going to be yes. And don't forget, what we just talked about is going to carry us through this next week as we continue to be people of integrity, practicing integrity and being people of integrity, especially when nobody is looking. Because what we practice when nobody is looking, we practice, of course, even more so when people are around us, knowing that each and every time we are sharing God's goodness. Thanks so much for being online with us. We're going to go ahead and close our program with our favorite song, the song that is the Lord's Prayer, the prayer that Jesus teaches his disciples, and you and I continue to learn and recite and sing and say out loud because we are also Jesus' disciples. So join me in singing this song.
Our Father in heaven, holy is your name. We welcome your kingdom here on earth to reign. Give us what we need today. Forgive us for our mistakes. Help us not to go the wrong way. We forgive all others who have hurt us. Please clean out our hearts till they look like love. Keep us from temptation. Deliver us from evil. You are salvation. Every kingdom is in your hands, every power at your command. You get the glory forever. Amen. Every kingdom is in your hands, every power at your command. You get the glory forever. Amen. Every kingdom is in your hands, every power at your command. You get the glory forever.
Such a beautiful song and a reminder God is with us, and we can trust that God is going to be with us this week, walking alongside with us as we continue to practice and be people of integrity. Thank you so much for those of you who've already sent me some pictures. I've got some from Bella, who is making her cookies. I can't wait to see how they turn out. And I hope that the rest of you enjoy your yummy snacks today. And throughout the week, you can make these over and over again as a snack option and as a reminder that God is with us, especially when nobody else is watching. We can make these awesome and great decisions. Thanks so much to the Tamanaha family for leading us through worship in scripture and in theater. Next week, we have our Cortez family leading us through one more lesson about integrity, and we're so excited to be hanging out with them next week. Don't forget to hop online at 11:10 for our worship service as a larger community. Thanks so much for being with us. Happy Sabbath, and I'll see you next time.